Hi everyone, it's Tamara here with another card making tutorial. This time I'm using the gorgeous set from My Favorite Things, Being a Grandparent is the Best, and also the Sand, Surf and Sky 6x6 paper pad. I'll be doing some Copic colouring of the images and then making a simple beach themed card using the paper pack. So let's get started with some colouring. going to grab some smooth white cardstock to create my card front, and then also the panel that I'll be making my beach scene from. So I'll run those through my die cutting machine. So I've got my 2 panels ready to go. And now we'll just flip through the paper pack and just pick the papers that we're wanting. So I'm wanting some sand, so this one will work perfectly for that. I want this blue and white stripe cardstock for the edge of my card. So we'll pop that out. And then I want a nice sky. So we'll flip through and there's a beautiful light blue cardstock with these white seagulls. So we'll grab those. So with my blue and white striped pattern paper, I'm wanting a small amount to go on either side of my white card front. So using the same stitched rectangle die, I just want to cut on either side so that you've got the stitching matching either side of your white card base. And I only want to cut a small amount, enough to be able to stick underneath my card front. And that way it saves wasting all this beautiful pattern paper, and I can now use that on another project. And I'll also do the same with my sky and sand, only cutting out what I need to run through the Stitched Designer Octagon die, and that way I can again use that pattern paper on other projects. I've grabbed out my snowbanks die from MFT, and I can actually make this into a sandbank. So I'm just going to line it up against my blue sky, just to make sure I've got enough coverage of that sand to cover that full sky panel once it gets all stuck down. So I've just grabbed out some washi tape, lining up that snowbank. I've run that through my die cut machine. So now I've got the perfect sand for Grandma and the little boy to stand on for my beach scene. Now I'm just going to line up my pattern paper blue and white stripes and just work out how much I'm wanting to be showing on each side of my white card front. And just using a pencil, I'm just going to mark top and bottom where I want that to sit. So again, lining it up on the other side. Again, top and bottom, and then just using that pencil just to make sure I don't put glue on the wrong spot. I'm just going to mark where I want my glue to sit. So I've grabbed out my glue, just putting it on the portions that will sit underneath that white cardstock and lining up those pencil marks that I made. Just make sure that we get that even, and with it being the same stitched rectangle die that I've used, it matches up perfectly and lines up. I do find just lining it up on the edge with those pencil marks makes it really easy to get this even on all sides. Now that's all attached, we'll get our beach scene octagon on the front. So we'll get that glued straight down. I was thinking about popping that up with a bit of foam tape, but because I want to prop up Grandma and the little boy, I'm just going to glue that directly to my card front, just making sure it's even on all sides and giving that a good press down. I've already cut and scored a blue card base, and I will have all the measurements in the description box below. So we'll get some glue on the back of our front panel and get that lined up, making sure that that's even on all edges. Using the same blue cardstock that I use for my card base so that it all matches in nicely, I've just grabbed out my Misti, and I'll be using this sentiment from the set to have my sentiment. So I've just attached that to my Misti front, and using my anti-static powder tool will get that put down to make sure no particles go where I don't want them. I'm just using my Versamark Watermark Ink to double stamp that so I've got a nice impression. And I've got a folded piece of A4 printer paper to catch any excess powder, so I can scoop that straight back into my bottle. I've preheated my heat tool, so we'll go get that all nice and melted. And then once that's cooled down, I just grab out a cloth and just wipe off the excess powder that I've used to stop any powder going where I don't want it. So I've grabbed my sentiment banner and just lining that up one end, I'm going to now place it on the other end with the same amount of space as the other end and run that through my die cutting machine, and now we have the perfect size sentiment banner. I have all my elements ready to go, so I'm just going to line everything up and work out where I want to place everything on my card front. So I'm feeling that looks really good. I just want a little bit of sand showing underneath my sentiment. Now with the bag, I'm just going to glue that directly to the card, and then I'm going to pop everything else up with foam tape. So we'll just set that to the side and get our scissors out and just place everything to make sure that all our images are secure to the front of our card. So just strategically place it in positions to make sure that everything is fully covered. So we've got our little boy all ready to go. We'll just add a few extra pieces to Grandma's hands and also her feet, and that way it makes sure that she's all properly secured down once she goes onto the card front. So we'll just get that on her feet. Then I'll remove all the release paper and we'll get everything attached to the front of our card. So I've just grabbed my tweezers and we'll get the sentiment banner put down first, just making sure that it's lined up and straight and even on both sides of the white cardstock. Give that a good press down. So we'll get Grandma put on first because I want her hand to be kind of sitting behind the little boy's head. So we'll get her lined up in front of her bag and give her a press down and pop the little boy just standing in front like Grandma's cradling his head in her hand. And he's all secure. And this is a finished card project for this tutorial. I absolutely adore this set. All the images are so beautiful, as are the sentiments. And I think this makes a great card for any grandma or grandpa, either giving to or receiving. I hope you've enjoyed this card making tutorial. If you have, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see any future videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.